The gym, and my real name's Dan Hilbert. You guys know me as Swimmer. So I get the honor today to introduce y'all to the real Pete Rivas. So Pete, a bunch of the Saints Reports fans did not believe that you were real, that you were a figment of my imagination. So how would you respond to that?
Well, I didn't know how deep you were into Saints Nation to begin with.
Uh-huh.
So I never really took it serious
Uh-huh.
as we talked. I just thought you were just a sport activist that just liked sport, period. So as I got to know you better about the Saints and talking game time and game results and things going on, then I knew that maybe I had to disclose who I was for you, so that way you had some credibility from your info.
You know me. You know I don't know this much about football. I wish I did. I wish I knew half of what you know. I'd tell them. I'd say, hey, I don't know this much about it. But so now they're getting to meet the real Pete Rivas. Okay.
Anyways, went on to play football through high school and then in college, and played for Coach Wacker at Texas Lutheran, and then got really interested in bodybuilding. It was one of my goals was to bodybuild, and did pretty well in that. And then I coached as well for 14 years. Football, high school football, and track, and then I got into training, personal training.
Mm-hmm.
After my graduate's degree in exercise science, I chose to train athletes of all levels, all the way through professional football and baseball and basketball and so forth. So it's been a part of my life.
It appears to, in the 5 years I've known you, it appears to have evolved into a mind, body, spirit thing for you, not just perfect condition. That is, you're trying to help people become full people in all areas of their life through physical training. And is that true?
I try to implement that because you have one body to work with, and it's got to last you for the long haul, and you've got to be able to enjoy it. So my philosophy is, even though your football days or your baseball days are over, you might want to play softball, or you might want to go golf or go fish. To enjoy even those endeavors, you've still got to be in shape to be able to enjoy success. Why participate if you're not going to try to be somewhat successful in what you're doing?
So how did the spirit piece come into it for you?
Well, I mean, sound mind, sound body.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
You can't make them work.
Okay.
Opposite each other.
Okay.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to unify them.
Okay.
So that's where that comes in.
So they're ultimately one for you. That's the elite level of health, is spiritual and physical.
If you look at longevity in sports, the guys that have longevity have that already to begin with. They don't play in corrals at night and all those other things. They're more grounded and not so risk-taking, a la alcohol or drugs or all other kind of recreations that get people in trouble.
And I know you've done a lot of work, rehab of professional athletes who've had abuse problems. That's for different sessions right now. And I'm really curious how you got into that, because I know you've got, from knowing you, a tremendous sense of help and accomplishment when you've done that. So, question before we get to the final meat of this, you got to tell us about your Brees. Why you've you've always been just incredibly drawn by Brees. And will you share a little bit about what happened? Did you play against him? You coach against him? What happened?
Well, I coached against him and had real good relationships with athletes that played against him. And those particular athletes that played against him had a lot of respect for him. you always get the best feedback from your opponent. And if your opponent says he's a good guy, he is a classy guy, he's not a prima donna and so forth, they enjoy playing against him, win or lose.
Really?
Yeah. And so Drew's always had that quiet, mature confidence about it. And that's what's been able to allow him to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But it also allows him to have respect from his opponents as well as his fellow teammates.
Okay, so you've trained many a player for the combine. You've rehabbed professional basketball, baseball, football players, many of them over the years. What makes Brees so special to you?
Like I said, he's been grounded since an early age. He didn't have to be disciplined or scolded or reprimanded to stay focused on his performance or game. And as far as him taking care of himself, he's done a good job of taking care of himself. Sound mind, sound body. He's been the same guy every time I've heard him on TV. He's
Really?
never really changed
Since high school?
Correct.
Same good. Okay, so does he have a genius brain for seeing the field, or is he a natural leader, or what does he do that makes him first ballot Hall of Fame?
He doesn't panic. There's no panic.
So he's got ice cubes in his vein when the game's
Well, I
on.
don't know about ice cubes, but the thing about it is that he doesn't put all his apples in one basket during the game. He knows it's a process, but he's known that from early on. You got to realize he was brought up in an offense where you got to go find your receivers at an early age, and when you start having that imprinted in your head, you either absorb it and have it, or you never really had it to begin with. He learned it and kept it. So it's made football fun and easy as far as going through his reads and finding the open man, or making the comeback, or making the clutch pass, or it's been imprinted in his head already.
Do you think he's as smart a quarterback as there is in the league today?
I think he is a dying breed.
Why do you say that?
The quarterbacks that are brought up today don't have that reserve and that humility.
Really? That's that old school Texas Darrell Royal.
I don't know about that, but I'll give you an example. He is a Johnny Unitas, Bart Starr type.
Okay.
Confident personality.
Gotcha. And a real
Doesn't
leader.
brag, just goes and gets the job done.
But a great leader,
If you remember, Johnny Unitas was a dying breed when he was in his era. Bart Starr was, he wasn't flashy, but always got the job done and hit the open man. So, those kind of guys, they don't exist that much anymore.
Okay. Thank you. Pete, this leads me to the Saints defense. And after the first two games of the year last year, like most of us, you didn't think there was a tremendous amount of hope. These kids we got, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Lattimore, Marcus Williams, he had that, the one unfortunate play, but besides that, he was playing at almost the Pro Bowl level. All this young talent, what do you think, and then Cam Jordan, do you think we're going to have a decent defense, a good defense, and do we have the ability to be a top 5 or 10 defense?
I think you are a, how should I say, you are a reactive defense. I think that when your defense is asked to hold, and it's asked to get the ball back for the offense, I think you have that kind of control But as far as dominance, I don't think you're a top 3 or 4 defense. But I think you're a very good complementary defense to your offense. And that really, that really is all you really need for success as a team, as a whole team.
Do you think that we have a legitimate chance at going deep in the playoffs in the Super Bowl this year?
You're dangerous.
Why?
The Saints are dangerous because you have an uncanny confidence to pull out games when you really shouldn't even be in the game, just from your persona. That's something that's created, that maybe Coach Sean has done in creating that. Never count us out type of attitude. And so I told you last year that the Saints are one of the teams I wouldn't want to play against at any given time, because
I thought you would tell me that to be nice. You were being serious.
At any given time, when Brees is hot and the defense is holding, you can beat anybody. You could have beat anybody last year. So in that situation, you're better this year. You're going to be better this year.
Are you talking about team character, locker room chemistry? Is that?
I think you're back. I think it's back. You had that kind of character and persona when you won the Super Bowl. Same type of attitude's back. I feel it, for you guys.
Seemed like Bountygate took that, but we'll hold that for another one. One of the questions and one of the other people had for you, you shared with me, and I tried to share it with the Whodats on Saints Report, and I don't think I did the best job. Okay, sometimes you dump information on me that so far over my head. I'm just trying to convey it back to the ones. You said something about when we're talking about Davenport, how Wade Phillips had kind of changed the schemes of defense, where speed and other factors were critical. And when I tried to share that in the board, I got a lot of, and very intelligent, but Phillips ran a 3-4, not a 4-3, and he didn't have a cover 2, or he did have 3 over sort of thing. That's not what you were trying to tell me, I don't believe, about his scheme. It had more to do about the type players in the athletes he was putting. Can you explain this to me a little bit, please?
Well, he had enough at Denver's best. I saw Coach Phillips use strategic moves with his talent to be able to dictate the defense and the attack. And so that's what I see, kind of the new NFL defense, where you're going to have to create different attacks with your speed.
So you think speed is really?
What I foresee in the NFL? I foresee in the NFL defensive linemen getting smaller and faster and stronger. Not necessarily height-wise, but I'm saying weight-wise. You see the specialists that come in, the big guys, the 340, the 350 guys come in.
I call them mansters.
And plug in on the short yardage. Those are good, but I don't see that situation being that critical anymore in the NFL of short yardage.
Mm-hmm.
It's the open game that you got to stop.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you can't stop the open game, they can put points on the board on you quick. So everybody's going to have to run. The DBs, they're little because they got to cover a lot of ground. I mean, so in the NFL, the DBs have gotten smaller and smaller, faster and smaller. Not necessarily height. I just said weight-wise.
So